Thanks for staying with us. So today we're discussing the new minimum wage. So last week, President Bola Tinubu approved 70,000 naira minimum wage for Nigerian workers with a promise to review the national minimum wage every 3 years. What are your thoughts on this? Because many of you have followed the journey from NLC and TUC's proposition for 250,000 naira minimum wage. The federal government had come up with 62,000. This was what was provided. They had given to the president to discuss with the tripartite meeting, where they also had conversations with all the governors across the country. And then our president has finally agreed to 70,000, and Labour has also agreed. So the president has promised that by Tuesday, the National Assembly will get the reviewed law, and we'll take it from there. But what are your own thoughts? Let's hear, do you agree to 70,000? Do you think this is appropriate? Do you think it's a win for the people? Or do you believe that government should have at least come a bit closer to the 250,000? Some were saying that maybe 100,000 would be better, 150,000, considering the hardship that we're going through right now. What are your thoughts? You can call us on the numbers on your screen, 081-0764-1679-0902-4163440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read the tweet. So ladies, what are your thoughts? This is about 130% or so increase from 30,000 naira to 70,000. I mean, what do you think? Do you think this was right, or do you think the government should have done a bit better than what was proposed? You see, start?
I think,
okay. Nima, go ahead.
Based on what government is dealing with right now, according to what government says they're dealing with, this is reasonable. Government all this while have been screaming that they cannot afford it, particularly the subnationals. They've been screaming that they can't afford to pay these monies, and we are all wondering how the 250 initially demanded by Labour would make it, but we're grateful that the president took this upon himself, because the back and forth with the tripartite committee was weighing down on people. We're all wondering what will happen if truly they shut down the entire economy, but we are happy that they were able to meet at a middle point. Some people have criticized that Labour took the fight too far, because when they started from 500 and something, and they knew they were coming here, making people have big hopes. But the reality of what is on ground is not unknown to Labour themselves. So we know part of this tripartite committee is the organized private sector, who are employers of Labour themselves, and they run businesses. And all that we are all dealing with is touching everybody. So beyond the federal government, because when the minimum wage is passed, it becomes law. It's compelled on businesses also to find a way to pay it. You now have businesses either downsizing and compelling some people to adopt new departments, instead of delegating and spacing out work, you compel one person to carry it also, you can pay that person and downsize. And it's going to eventually affect other people. So we have on that committee, the organized private sector, we also have Labour, and then we have the federal government. The federal government on their own part can continue to take World Bank loan or IMF loan to pay salaries. Maybe that will satisfy people. But if it is based on earnings, the federal government must, look within. We've removed subsidy, or we've had increased revenue, and so the federal government might be able to pay. Okay. But the subnationals who are also getting money are saying, we cannot pay this amount. It's from that money we want to do road, and we're wondering where would the account and the conversation come from. But we must realistically accept this as the present reality, and I hope that we as private business people will be able to pay
so that our own workers as well.
Our own workers as well.
Yeah. So, well, in the light of everything that's happening, they've been shifting ground. So Labour has shifted, government has shifted, and government kept insisting that we need to be able to do something that is sustainable. If you also look back, we'll find out even the 30,000 naira minimum wage, many states were not even paying that one. So we're still paying as far back as 18,000 naira. Now with 70,000, we may still have issues of a lot of states not jumping into it immediately and paying that one. So we also need to put that, in perspective to say that, okay, if they have done this, and the fact that you mentioned now that just reminded me that it will now become law, meaning that even private enterprises will still be mandated to pay that as minimum wage. How many people can actually afford to pay that amount of money? So if we look at it in that light, we can say, okay, I think it's okay that Labour has accepted let's see how this goes further. But if we also look at it in other ways where we see that there's still a lot of spending that the government is doing for themselves. There's still a lot of, trips that are going that we feel they can cut down on. And I like what Oju Zokalu also said in the papers this morning, that we can, make sure that the legislature just sits a few times a year. They don't have to be there as permanent workers. They come in, do your bid and go, so that they are not paid salaries like they're sitting every day. It's also a way of cutting costs. Now, when we do all of this in different places, the government is cutting the cost, and you're telling the people that we want to stop getting loans to pay salary. We want to pay with what we're generating. And we're saying, okay, this is 70,000 we can offer now. People would accept it more with, willingness and understanding that they touch everybody right now. And with time, when the boom comes, we can now begin to have negotiations to extend it.
The organized labor and federal government that we finally got into this point without the crippling strikes that were threatened. 70K, yes, good minimum wage, as we have all agreed, more than 100% increase, but we know that it's still just minimum wage. It's not a livable wage.
Yeah.
And it shows that at first I knew from the beginning. I knew that Labour was just using this as a negotiation tactics, those very huge amounts. Because as Nima says, they are very well aware of, the issues that we have in our country. So, and what are these issues? Yes, the government would say that they are broke and things like that. Even the 13,000 minimum wage, many states have been unable to meet those. But then there are many other reasons why, government is broke. There's lots of wastage happening. So we need to find ways, to block those wastages. As we know, the legislators last week had decided for 6 months they're going to give us half their salaries so that it can be put together and to buy food for Nigerians. So in their own way, they're showing us the steps that they are taking to tighten their belt. We will need to see more of this tightening of belt that shows us tangible, concrete contributions towards helping the regular Nigerian. 70,000, we'll start with that. But there is room for more. The 3-year review is welcome. I like that. The initial 5-year review was good, but for times as this, things are so tough. There's a lot of, there's a lot of anxiety amongst people. Price of food is so high. People are telling you of things that they haven't bought in a long time. People think that they cannot afford. And I'm not even talking, I'm talking of people who would say are middle class. They're talking about how tough things are. So yes, we see government has and organized labor, they've come to this point, but there's still a lot more to be done. And I know that it's not just by increasing wage, it has to be in us as well. We need to cut down this on importation, which will sort of bring me to this Dangote refinery thing that is happening. And what is happening? I thought this was good news. Where are we today? I thought we're about to have a refinery where we're getting our crude oil, refining our crude oil, selling, earning revenue, and now here we are. Anyways, I deviate a bit, but yeah, welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome.
You're talking about things we can't buy anymore. I mean, I remember I was telling I love plantains. You guys know how much I love plantains. I've not bought plantains because I'm like, I can pay 6,000, 4,000 to get a bunch.
8,000.
And that's your area. And my own that is still 4,000, 6,000.
4 pieces.
I am not going to pay that. So I've not bought it anywhere. But over the weekend, I think it was on Thursday or so. I just kind of just wiggled my way. Just let me just buy this bunch.
Yeah.
Because of how I have screamed about this plantain in my house, my health didn't touch too.
How they have.
They're just leaving it because they're like, Mommy.
Before you touch it,
now it's almost spoiled. I have to tell her this morning, Auntie, cook this thing now. And I'm thinking, because she's afraid of cooking it because I'll be complaining that people are finishing plantain, cannot be eating plantain anyhow.
It's a case of
so she has not left it in the fridge for me. And like, so is it that it's going to be
See
black?
this life, no balance. Yeah. So my people call it Enedoka. You are the one that is complaining that plantain is because they keep it. They are still complaining that it's
they will not chop it.
Wait for go.
But the point is that the reality now that we are all just kind of managing. So you're absolutely right. But I always just feel that, and someone was telling me over the weekend that is the perception of cutting down costs that we Nigerians, we want to see it done. Because I truly believe that even if they cut all their salaries in half, it's not going to give us the money we're looking for infrastructure. It's not going to fix our educational system. It's not going to fix our health system. But people just need to see that, okay, we're all in this together. So once they have that perception, okay, government has cut their salaries, maybe they can begin to understand the 70,000 naira minimum wage.
Yes, okay.
It's funny how the average Nigerian is asking government to cut salaries, but the party where they happen for this Nigeria now.
God bless you.
These people don't.
The champagne they're importing.
These people are not cutting.
But they like to look at government. It's government they're focusing. Four fingers. Let me even finish that thing off. I love where you're taking us, because I go to parties. I know parties in now. Maybe high level, I'm not giving, but the few that I go, I think to myself,
But Mariah, you went for one party where you yourself said there used to be, or you went for something where they used to have parties, they do not have party anymore. Some parties you used to go to, they used to have maybe 100 bottles of champagne. Now they are doing 50.
So they're cutting champagne.
No. What I'm saying is that everybody in their category. You see these legislators that they have said they're giving us half their salary. Many Nigerians are still looking at it and saying, what is it that you are giving us? But in their own pocket. So you're right about we need to cut, the cost, but it's not going to be enough.
Anytime I drink champagne in a party, I'm thinking, this is for it.
Why are you drinking?
Why are you drinking
it? It's there. It's there.
Why are you drinking it?
It's there.
Don't go to the party.
No, I will go.
When as a Nigerian that is cutting costs for other people in their pockets,
don't tell them, what? You put a bottle of champagne.
No, that's wrong.
Nigeria wants to
I'm thinking to myself, like,
the reduction in the largesse and wastage, and it doesn't just stop by House of Reps telling us they're giving us 50% of their salaries.
That's what we want to hear.
It starts and stops at all the largesse, the parties.
It's not about salary.
When you look in the news, all of us
I'll give you 5 minutes
managing.
to say this one. Wait, Mustafa, let me take Mustafa's call. Good morning, Mustafa. Thanks for calling. You're live. Hello, Mustafa from Abuja.
Hello.
Go ahead, please. Oh, from Kaduna, you're live. Please go ahead.
Good morning, tomorrow.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Well done, man. Good morning. Okay, ma. The issue of this minimum wage is a little bit
Need some volume.
compromised, because if you look at it, the inflation rate is very high. So 70,000 naira is not going to be enough, but we can manage it. The president really tried. If you look at the high inflation rate, Nigeria has experienced high inflation rates in recent years, which erodes the purchasing power of citizens. So if you look at the purchasing power.
Sorry, I didn't hear Mustafa, so I'm so sorry about that. Let me come back to you. We're talking about we also need to also see how we can cut down on our wastage. Yes.
So there's a saying of the prophet I would like to quote that, you don't flaunt wastage, your food, in front of a hungry person. I always say it all the time. It is in this Nigeria that we will talk about the current hardship of farmers are suffering, insecurity, and then we'll see somebody just say, well, I made my money now from government, do his own party. You see government people too, do their own, I've already given you half. It's the wastage. Is that, because in some homes, some people are wondering, how do I even feed my baby? Some people are thinking, in this same Nigeria, how do I manage? Yes, we have it. We all have excess. I constantly caution my kids that look outside. We're in the traffic and my kids are like, you've not bought this and that. And I said, that boy cleaning glasses, somebody's child like you. Face front. Have you not eaten today? We think it's not my business. That mentality is what is causing all this rancor, the need to want to protest. If it is hard everywhere in the world, it is hard everywhere in the world. It means that it's raining on everybody's roof, and it should show. That I have a gen in a community where they should be like, I know somebody there, they should exempt me. Whereas you can do something collective. We should learn this collective thing. It comes down to the Dangote issue we're also having. Even if truly, Dangote is looking to monopolize, how can you regulate it to make sure that we no longer do that importation that is causing the hardship? Shouldn't we be selfless in how we manage all these things so that people's life at least will ease out? We cannot continue to do one policy today that brings hardship to the people tomorrow, and we say, why are they asking questions? Is it my money? Is within my salary what I save for it? Nobody wants to know. You need to make it as transparent as possible, because everybody is...
Let me take this call.
They are going through their own.
Let me take this call. Kletos from Apopa, you're live. Good morning. Good morning, Kletos, you're live. I can't hear him.
Good morning.
Okay, good morning.
Please, I want to contribute concerning the minimum wage.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, can you hear me?
Very clearly now. Go ahead.
Okay. Please, I want to commend the government for the minimum wage. Don't worry because, okay. But I want to commend the president for the minimum wage concerning the situation of the country for now. When we talk about this, one thing they did well because of the.
You're listening to the TV. Please listen to talk to me directly. I have to cut the line off. Let me let me just hear Busy's thoughts and then I'll go ahead.
Yes. So I want to differ on the party issue. You cannot tell people not to celebrate because there's hunger in the land. People would always celebrate whatever they want to celebrate. And in that celebration, a lot of people are empowered. The caterer is paid. The decorator is paid. The MC is paid. If you take out all these celebrations, those professions, how will they make money? Everybody's helping everybody one way or the other. I believe that money is meant to circulate. So if you have so much and if you say, okay, let's not do parties again, people will hoard their money and it will not circulate. So that is not the crux of the matter. The crux of the matter is that the government who is responsible for the majority, no, listen now, I'll never finish. Who is responsible for the majority of the people must do what is right, must put things in place. And it's not just about increasing, whether they increase it from 70 to 150 tomorrow and all of that. No, it's about making sure that the basic amenities are there. So that even if it's 50,000 naira you're earning, you have good access to quality education for your children, access to good healthcare for your children. The little one you have, you can manage it. Nobody's asking for too much.
All right,
but for us to say that people should not celebrate whatever they want to celebrate,
let me go on a break.
Please, allow us to have our marriage. I'm not a party person.
It's only two parties that Monica circulates.
Yes, it's fine.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this matter, minimum wage, and we're now kind of offshoot to other things which are related because the truth is that we are addressing our excessiveness, the way we also need to cut down. So federal government has given us a minimum wage. We're also saying that we also as a people must look within. And in discussing that, we're looking at different angles. I was going to talk to what you said earlier. I agree with you. I mean, you can't stop people from partying. And nobody's saying stop. What we are understanding is like have this socialist view where it's now about us. Just like we had used Rwanda here as for an example. As a nation, it came together. First of all, we have to forgive each other for what we did. Yeah. And what's the next way forward? As a people, we don't have, these are the resources we have. What can we do to be able to use our resources and see how we can expand our economy? So as a people, we have to be united in where we are heading. So government is saying, I'm doing this. We're going to cut down costs. What are we as individuals going to do in our own capacity too? We have to also look at it as we are stakeholders in this nation called Nigeria. So we're not saying stop your parties. We're saying understand that if you're importing 100 bottles of champagne, right now, because of the way things are, people will understand if you only sell them soft drinks. Like, this we're not doing, I'm not doing parties anymore. I'm just doing soft drinks. Understand it. The other day I wanted to do a birthday party. I really felt like having a birthday party this year. I really wanted to. But after looking at the numbers, I said, okay, you have to think of birthday party, you have to think of summer, you have to think of, there's so many factors. Like, which one is priority? Party definitely is not priority. So we have to, as a people, now begin to rethink. Somebody was having a burial, a big family that I was expecting to go and tie my gele, do the whole party. This family did burial. This is like a 90+ burial. I was ready for party. They just sent a message that after the church, carry your parcel and go home. And I'm thinking, parcel and go home, bawo. Because I was ready for party. But they of course, they have this on the whole thing. And the woman said, no, thank you. After church service, everybody gets a bag, you go home. And I'm thinking, people are mind shifting. People are realizing that let us not do that anymore. So it's the same thing. We must talk to ourselves.
So I know that a lot of times when we talk about this lifestyle, this lavish lifestyle that we have as Africans, we also like to compare it with Europeans and how they have like a much more conservative, materialistic view of life. And I think, now looking at it, I think they may have gotten there by circumstances like what we're going through right now. Where, yes, exactly. You see their weddings, they only call a few people and they have a beautiful, lovely wedding. But we are here, you cannot afford you are crying because the wedding dress is hard, but you're also looking at how you want to call everybody from your village and everywhere to come, you know, to come to this wedding that you're throwing or whatever party it is that you're throwing. I think what will happen is if conversations like this does not take us there, reality will eventually take us there. We'll watch how it is that we're spending. There's in life, I know that we have our culture, but you're so right about this change of mindset. See, there are people that I have always admired because they seem to be more conservative. But I've seen that we have also called them out because we either call them stingy, call them they're not up and coming. And then there's a whole industry that makes its money from massaging our ego.
God bless you.
You know, from helping us to feel better than. My generator is bigger than yours. There's that industry that is built around that. And so that industry will fight tooth and nail to get us to keep spending our money there. That is in the lavishness of all our different whatever. Now look at somebody, this is a reality. Someone sat down and made a whole post on nursery graduation. And she says, please parents, let's think back. When we were graduating from school, was it not our uniforms that we wore?
Yeah.
Now we're looking for money to buy prom dresses and all these things. Where? Who do you think is that person that understands your ego? You want to show yourself.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I have you. I'm waiting for you. I will tell you. But in reality, in the times that we have now, it does not stop what you have earned. You know, your child will still graduate. So there's so many things that we have to start rethinking. What are we really doing? Why are we doing it?
God bless you. I mean, I love that because everybody, if you want to spend money, they'll make you feel like you are better than them.
Yes.
You are in this school. You're in this place. This is how we do it in the abroad. So you are in that group.
Party. Did you see? On the table alone.
Yes.
You know, so you cannot, you are moral now. You cannot do that standard.
Let me take this call. Let me see. I just lost the call. Good morning. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Oh, my God.
Hello. Good morning. I can't. Oh, I'm so sorry. You know, I got there's a lady that there was a time I was focusing on my skin, popping. So there was one lady that just kind of grabbed me like this. She'd been on my case for years. Finally, I said, okay, auntie, let me come to your store. So then I did facials, I did the whole thing. I should help me with some cream and everything. I know that first time, okay, I made the money. Since that first purchase, she has been chasing me. Of course, I ran away. When I see the numbers, chasing me to buy my cream had finished. And me, I was using my regular, I can't come and clean myself. She kept calling me and wondering, you need this, it has finished. I'm sure it has finished. I thought, yes, it has finished, but I am not buying new one. She kept saying, no, you can pay it over time. I said, it's not about that. I'm thinking, skin, tomato.
Food.
Pepper, plantain. I'm thinking skin. I'm like, I gotta weigh the options, girl. I mean, I appreciate what you did for me and I appreciate how my skin, but I gotta weigh my options. I'm not gonna feed that. If somebody else at that level can do that, me as I am, I can't. I'm sorry.
So I like where you went to, and I like the fact that the conversation should be more about people understanding where they are and staying there. We cannot expect everybody to stay in the same spot because everybody is not in the same spot. There are people who have worked hard, who have grown, who have earned their success. And you cannot tell them not to spend their money the way they want to spend their money. When you do that, you are restricting your own money from coming. Because by the time you get to that success, your money will not come because you're already judging somebody who has gotten who has gotten money, you know, gotten to that level of success, who has earned it. The problem is a lot of people, because they are looking at what people will say, and because they are looking for validation outside, get out of their way. When you know, say you never reach, you are now borrowing to overdo it. But if you have it in excess. And I've also understood that most of these people that we think they have it in excess and we think they are just lavishing on themselves, they do a lot of charity without shouting about it. They pay a lot of school fees, we don't know about it. They put money in different charity homes. They sponsor a lot of people, their villagers, their brothers, they are
Let me give an example of something you just said.
A lot of things that we don't know about. But what we see is when they now choose to celebrate themselves and spend their money. So let's not judge and feel all of us will have to be on the same. I mean, even Jesus said the poor will always be amongst us. The prayer is that you are not among the poor, because there's no way we can have a society
there was
without
somebody,
the poor.
There was
They're
somebody
also
I know
necessary.
that got an apartment in Banana Island, and because we're really happy for the person. I just pray he's not watching TV right now, But then the person was now, so after the band day, everything, the guy is now complaining, he has to leave this place, so he can't afford this.
He cannot complain.
Because in his own mind, he wanted to be,
when he never reached.
When he never reached.
Never reached.
Because in your mind, you just felt that I want to be in that committee. There's nothing wrong in aspiring. You can aspire to be. But the problem, he's not able to sustain it because he just felt that he needed. So now he's complaining. He's having problems because he wants to leave.
Yeah.
He's asking me if I have abundant in my own estate.
Please, I just want to add something. There's something they always advise. Before you buy an item, make sure you can afford it 10 times over. That shows you are in that level. If you cannot afford that thing you want to do, like I want to plan party for, let's say, 20 million. And I cannot afford 20, no, hold on. And I cannot afford 20 million 10 times over. You are a fool to plan a party of 20 million.
Is it
now,
the
just giving you an
hairstyle? So we have hair. This hair.
Yes, and you cannot afford that.
I can't afford hair 10 times this hair.
So why are you buying it? You are not there.
Okay.
But a lot of our wealth in this country is fake wealth. I feel that when you travel abroad, where Oyibo people stay, the kind of shops that are lining their streets, if you bring those shops in this country,
we cannot sustain
those luxury, that real luxury sector. We can't.
Yeah.
A lot of us are just trying, we put all our money together, buy it here, and then we don't have it as an everyday lifestyle.
Dr. Suleiman, you're live.
Okay, good morning all.
Good morning.
I really appreciate your discussion today, and it has been a fruitful one, but I really want to make a contribution here. I'm looking at this from three different angles. One, as a citizen of the country, what do you have to do to really come out of this problem? The second one is what the government has to do on its own part, and what is the really current reality. Now, if you now look at it now, it's not the issue of increasing the minimum wage. It's the issue of restoring back our economy. In as long we continue to increase salary, and we are not going back to the grassroots of what is the root cause of it. If you now look at it, look at UK. You can have a salary of just £2,000, and that will take care of 2,000, 2,500, and you can go to do every shopping and still have an excess to pay for your bills, your accommodation, and still have some savings, even send back if you are, it's not professor, let's say you're in Nigeria. Now, we have a salary of, say, somebody earning over 200,000, but when you go to the market, you cannot do a shopping that will take him up to 2 weeks. That is telling you that even if you give him 500,000 naira, that will not take care of the need. Now, what do we really have to do? We have a system that nobody wants to make a fake sacrifice. The people in position in power doesn't want to do the right thing. The right thing is that we have to go back to ensure that we are producing what we need. At least 50% of what we need in this country is the only way out. If we cannot do that, let me tell you one thing. Next year also, we have to demand for an increase in wage. That is one thing.
Thank you very much.
If you look at our society now, how sure are we that in each local government we have a charity organization? I'm sure most of these politicians, they only go back to their communities where it is time for election. Now,
thank you, Dr. Suleiman. I didn't hear most of what he said, but I know that our viewers probably heard.
Hear clearly.
It was really difficult.
Just as we were talking on the purchasing power of an average Nigerian as compared to, their purchasing power compared with earning power
abroad,
countries abroad, and how we here think that, we must also live like that. Then so how our politicians are doing. So the real topic here is whether this 70,000 naira is within,
what the government
Nigerians purchasing power. But the truth is, it's not rich.
Never, of course not.
Yeah.
It is not. But we've come to a middle ground. And now we're talking about still, living within certain limits so that your next person is not provoked by what they're going through and thinking, because you're privileged. Remember when the EndSARS thing started? Everybody that was a bit connected or privileged or even were attacked. True. And we're getting there. That's why we must
be careful.
Run at least a socialist mentality in our, no matter what you are, who you are, and what you're worth. We had royal fathers attacked. We had people at anybody
Bus
that
drivers.
You have driver. I remember that day, the day before the burning of the station, when I was driving home, I paid my way till Oshod, Lhasa, and I ran out of cash. So you know the boys will see your car. Oh,
you get
paid.
AC.
You honest, you wind up.
Yes, they told us to
turn
off our ACs and wind up.
And for having a bit of comfort, you were made to pay.
Yeah.
So everybody was taking out their grievances, their hardship on us, on other people. For you can afford certain things, and that reality is why we must. Not because you cannot or nobody's compared. You must learn to bring it within check.
Which is what Mariam was telling us that.
Now, I'm not saying that you should not throw parties. The people that have money are not the ones throwing everyday parties. That one is not throwing any party.
Thank you.
He's reinvesting his money.
It is
But the people that
want to show
every day, my senior wife doing young. It's my turn. Busy don't do young. Don't mind me. I'm not like her.
And let them do party against it.
Because yes, the people who have money are looking for other ways to reinvest.
See,
so you open a business and you employ other people, and those people are off the market, and you reduce the people who don't have constantly check their backyards. The gale at some point, the table is full at their parties.
Let me take Tim. Tim is been holding. Good morning, Tim from Benue.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. Sorry,
I need some volume. I can't hear.
To be able to reach you out today. I think anyway, let me introduce myself. I'm a typical farmer and an agri-economist.
Okay.
Yes.
Fantastic. Good to have you on the show.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I want to go straight to the issue. The core issue here is the issue of minimum wage. That is the first issue. Then the second thing is the issue of the National Assembly donating half of their salaries. Now, they were very specific on donating half of their salaries. They talked about the money will be meant in the next 6 months to buy food for Nigerians. Now, that is where I have an issue. The core problem we have today, even if the minimum wage is increased to what level we are asking of 250, our problem will not be solved. The core problem we have today is the problem of food insecurity. That is where the farmers will come in and where we are angry. Just 3 weeks ago, my cousin who went to prospect for a new place where we are going to farm rice to shift away from the swamp we have been farming was killed inside the forest by Fulani herdsmen. No provocation, no nothing. Just he entered. All we heard was gunshots. And when we went, it was an issue. Now, if the issue of insecurity is not addressed for our farmers to go back to the farm, whatever anybody contributes, and no matter the minimum wage, we will achieve nothing. So all we are asking of the National Assembly, for we, typical farmers, what we are asking is they should address the issue of insecurity. Now, even if they donate the money, where are they going to buy the food from? Are they going to import the food? Until we go back to our farm. Production today, as far as agriculture is concerned, is zero. Let us be very factual about it. A tuber of yam we were selling for 200 naira, today we sell it for 2,000 naira. As a farmer, I'm talking. So please, if our National Assembly and the federal government is in, if they rise up with all sincerity and address the issue of insecurity and farmers go back to farm, production comes.
Okay.
Thank
you very much, Tim.
Whether we have any amount of minimum wage, whether low.
Thank you very much. That's a very valid point. Insecurity, food insecurity is a major problem. And so no matter how much money you give for minimum wage, it's not going to be effective. Okay, let's take a few comments on social media as we begin to wrap up on this. But there was a point I was going to hop on earlier. That's what Mariam said, is that it is from times like these that we begin to change our culture. We now see that our children, when they grow up, they might not be throwing lavish parties as we are, because gradually the system will check you, will begin to recondition your mind to see things differently. Understand that you have to be more prudent. Other countries, even African countries, are not as excessive as we are when it comes to things like this. You know, it's times that really, really caused them. So and one of the things I'd like to take from this conversation is that Nigerians also must see where they are in this puzzle. The role they play in this puzzle, that we need to also be part of the solution. And indeed, the day I went to, there was somebody invited me to a new hotel that was opened. This hotel was luxurious to the highest. And the person was proudly taking us around, and all I could see, this for me is like, we can't have, our economy can't accommodate this. Our economy cannot accommodate this. Who's going to come and pay this amount of money to come? This is for what I mean. That's not where we are.
But they are paying now.
Yeah, but
where are they getting it from? It's always
so it's when you now trace that money, like who is selling shoe? What are you producing to get this kind of money to even build this kind of thing? Exactly. Is that how you stole the money? Or so where is this money coming from? We have to be able to trace this money, because if we don't ask the right questions, we just say, oh, he has a beautiful hotel, oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. But the truth is that where did that money come from? It's part of this money that we're looking at. Where is our money?
You mentioned this because I've heard a lot of people talk about like all this luxury, either hotels or
interior decorators.
Yes, or clothing lines.
Yeah.
They say that most of their clients are Yahoo boys.
Of course.
Oh.
That is what we are catering to. Those are the people that have that sort of money on a regular that can go to those shops or go to those places and spend money. So who are we deceiving?
Exactly.
This is not money
this money that's stolen. This is not money that comes back to us. This is not money that was earned from us. This is not money that will improve our economy.
At all. It's just money that's been passed from Mr. A to Mr. B.
To just show.
So it's not entering the economy. No. So that's why I said we have to really look within and see the role Nigerians play in this. You go to a hotel, I went to a lovely hotel, but who are you fooling? So let's take a few comments and we'll now wrap up on this, because we have to go on a short break.
Just to let you know that most of those writing from London, anywhere abroad, are bewildered about what most of our colleagues in Nigeria have to go through. Let's talk about those low-paid workers. Just to say, the truth is that not even Mariah and the ladies on this panel can really voice true opinions about their feelings. Everything has to be coded, and I respect that.
How is that possible?
Like says, my concern is that how will the government prevent this increase from further increasing the already hiked inflation in the country? Otherwise, there will be no effect.
Yeah.
Ola Didi says, in Nigeria, there is plenty happiness and less money. In UK, there's lots of depression from loneliness, but enough money to just get by. Depends on what you prefer. Andrew says...
That happiness, is there really happiness? I don't know when they keep saying it.
Okay, we have to wrap up on this, but really, in a nutshell, we think that the minimum wage is a start. Definitely, it's not something that most Nigerians can live on, but at least it's a middle ground that hopefully in the next 3 years will be reviewed upwards considerably.
If lifestyle changes.
If
so we say we don't want farmer. So they say there's a part of us who doesn't find dignity in some kind of labor.
That's all we can take on this segment. We'll come back, move on to our next segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.